Get your pens, take your notes. Actually, this is an interesting format because I was just in Nairobi in March, and all the presentations were done that same way. Speakers spoke, and then at the end, they got all their questions. I asked if that's a normal thing in African academics and such. They said yes. The speakers speak, and then the audience will ask questions, and then there's kind of a lengthy Q&A with the panel. And I said, oh wow, that's very interesting. So to this, training the future and meeting challenges to your systems approach. So I was going to explain, this is what we're going to be talking about today, a little bit about systems thinking and kind of what that is, and then the challenges of training the future. When I say future, our opening speaker kind of mentioned that about new recruits, future employment field, our students, yeah, the future. And some solutions collected that when I was looking at the literature and such, some solutions that I think could help. And yeah, we'll summarize those and give a final thought. Very simple way of thinking of systems thinking. Here are just the different kinds of literature that are involved. I think if you Google Peter Singh, you'll see a plethora of information about systems thinking and what it is. But in short, it really is just taking a holistic view of kind of life and how it works and how systems work. So we have Japan, and we have the government, business, and academia all kind of working, sometimes in separate, to solve the same situation. Yeah, we have all these challenges, and we need to look at all of these systems as one system. So you have Japan, and the government, academia, and business need to work in unison, kind of think the same way, almost in unison, to kind of attack any given challenge. So we're looking at one system in a holistic way, right? We're looking at this as a holistic way of thinking. And these other, that's why, right, holistical and ethic academic partnerships, Catelli talks about that, as well as Kazar talks about that in her monograph. This is, I put this up here if you want to look at an earlier work about general systems theory. It's more mathematical and science applied, but Ludwig von, I always forget this, Bertalanffy. Yeah, he kind of writes about a general systems theory, that there is this kind of one system, and we need to understand how all the parts in the system work together in order to fix any given challenge that we have, in order to fix any given challenge that we have. And yeah. So the challenge, and again, the opening speaker kind of, I was like, yeah, that's what I want to say. She kind of laid this out very well, is that, yeah, from MEX to K-Donren to higher education, academia institutions, adjusting to this phase of globalization is like our big challenge. And I say this phase because globalization I don't think is anything new. Adam Smith in The Wealth of Nations wrote about globalization. That was globalization. To them, it was a little slower. Ships and over transit, it's very slower, but he was writing about this massive system, right? And how all the pieces in that system need to work together. And if you understand how the pieces work together, then you'll be successful, in short, be successful. And this phase of globalization, I think, is the kind of trademark, the stamp of this phase of globalization, is speed. It's just speed. Now you don't have to put something in the mail and a horse goes and carries it across the way. Now it's boom, and it's done. So the speed at which we're connected is making everything, as she was saying, the world smaller. We're much closer in some ways. Some people think much farther apart, but the ability to be connected, hyper-connected, is there. And I think that's one of the challenges that we're dealing with. So yeah, based on some literature as well, as well as a lot of this information. Oh, I should also just say a lot of this is comes off of literature that I've been looking at for my dissertation. I'm doing a dissertation that is focused on whether or not companies in Japan consider study abroad experience valuable when they go to hire new recruits. And in my literature review, looking at METS documents and business and surveys and all this other things, a lot of this information is kind of coming out, is where a lot of this comes from. So this is kind of an offshoot of research that I am doing now. And yeah, it shows, do we want a more globalized education? Again, she alludes to this. The rest of the world is like, yeah, send your students abroad. Japan's like, maybe that's a good idea, not sure. We're kind of in this middle phase. Some people are saying yes, some people are saying, for some it's good, for some it's not, depends on your situation. So there's really not this definitive answer. So then that leaves, do we need a more liberal arts focus or a hard science focus? The school I teach at, University of Fukui, it's really engineering, medical science, hard science focused. Yeah, we have we have an education department, but the rest is like a massive engineering school. Yeah, so one minute we hear the Ministry of Education, or people say, well, social sciences are not so important. Next minute, they're giving a lot of money to increase liberal arts departments. So there's this, how's the challenge go? With that comes immigration adjustments. Again, just saying 25% of this university is international. Japan wants international students, international people to come in, but due to immigration laws, are they favorable to that? So that's another challenge. This goes to the heart of systems thinking in itself, business, academia, and government relationships. How do those work together? Yeah, there are factions. Are they all on the same page, or are they kind of acting separately? Corporate hiring practices. This is something that we hear about as our students go through their university educations, go through their educations in general. We're sort of preparing them for this shikatsu time when they have to go hunt for jobs. And does that need to change? Is that really going to change? That's maybe a reality. Is that really going to change, or do we need to adjust to the fact that this is the way it's going to be, and we need to adjust to that somehow? And obviously, money. We're all, again, universities are building programs because funding is coming in. Do they want the money? What's the goal behind that, really kind of sorting out those challenges? So, putting this through my kind of systems thinking lens, looking at this as kind of like a holistic unit and seeing how these pieces need to kind of come together, this puzzle needs to come together. These are some things that I have been thinking about and kind of I plan to put forward to at least my university and put forward to the people that I know when I interview them and talk to them and stuff. Because part of my dissertation is I have to talk to business leaders and HR managers and MEXT officials. So when I actually get to sit down and talk to them, I have to bring up these points. Yeah, so I think creating broader coalitions between academia, business, and government so that they're kind of on the same page. One is not reacting to the other. I think what often happens is business says we need this, and higher education says, well, what do you want us to do? And then government says, well, do this, A, B, or C, and then it kind of happens in this piecemeal fashion. So there's not like a unified voice, this is what should happen. And I think that's sort of the confusion or the ambivalence of Japan to kind of move into this globalized world on the same page, is that some pieces are going that way, other pieces are not. And I think it just needs to make a decision. Does business want to be international and university just does what it does and the government just funds? Is that the way? But there seems to be some ambivalence there. So And I say this includes student and parent voices. Part of the holistic thing is there's a grassroots. There are people, all stakeholders are involved. Students sit in classes, parents pay for these things. But we always hear about these boards and these coalitions saying we should do this, but we never hear who's on the board? Oh, the CEOs of all these companies. But how about like regular people? Because they're the ones who actually are getting the education and actually have to go sit and say, I'm going to interview you for this job. So what does that person actually feel? Are they part of the system, or are they just, so maybe include more of these student parent voices. And that goes into creating shared responsibility. That's the main thing, again, in systems thinking, is that there is a shared responsibility because everyone's on the same page, right? I think right now there's not a feeling of shared responsibility. It's everyone has to do it this way, or this group has to only do this. So there's not that shared responsibility. Transparency, I think that's really, we just need to see what's happening. Sometimes things are off in one corner of a website and we can't really find or see it. Especially when in Japan, a lot of the information that I know I've been finding, I do have to look for in Japanese first and then get it in English, or I find something in English and then realize that's not the official word, because it's provisional translation of English. See Japanese for official language, which makes you realize, well, so you go back to the Japanese, so then just say this is not it. So that's very, very important. And then this is kind of my thing that I kind of am pushing sort of to starting with my university, is just doing more needs analysis. What do we really need? What do we really need? I talked to just anecdotally, I talked to my career affairs director of my career affairs department, and I said to him, can I put this question on your survey to all the companies that deal with University of Fukui? And it was this back and forth, nice guy, but he's like, I don't think we need this. Our students don't need the companies that deal with University of Fukui, and he was just being real. He's just like, I don't think they need to know, or for them it's not important. So why should I even ask the question? And then I said to him, well, do you know that the university is getting money from MEXT to encourage engineering students to study abroad? He looked at me like, really? That's interesting. And I said, so don't you think it's important that companies have an idea? He says, yeah, it is important, but they don't need to know. That's not what they ask. That's not what we prepare our students for. So I was like, there's a disconnect here. Why? You are the career affairs person. You should know this, right? What do we need to know from companies to get our students, what do they need? So that's a big thing. And I say government should do it because in Japan, government has the bureaucracy. It's out there. Something to deal with. It's out there. Use that bureaucracy to get the necessary information and to disseminate that information. Okay, pretty much almost done. So yeah, this is just a quick summary. This is sort of the highlights. Some main thinking and systems thinking, and obviously we're talk about globalization. And in short, just a unified collective way forward. Just need to all get on the same page and kind of move forward. And sort of this is I found this image, and I was like, oh, this is kind of like embodies what I'm thinking. Yeah. We have this bridge, and the bridge is, if we're not all connected, then it's, we could fall apart very easily. Okay. I think that's my time.